Hi, my name's Johnny. This is my third tutorial. I'm going to be showing how to use Trilian for bass reamping and also how to fix a specific problem when trying to reamp using a Focusrite 6-in 6-out. So why use Trilian rather than just play a bass? The simple answer is because I can't. I'm not a good bass player. I don't think it's as simple as just playing guitar badly. But I don't think that should stand in your way of making songs, especially if you need to write a lot. So I'm going to use Trilian for our bass sounds. Trilian's a really good bass sampling instrument made by Spectrasonics. It's got lots of bass instruments in here, some synths, quite a lot of electric basses though, which is what I'm going to be using. And you can see there's lots of different basses you can choose from, and there's lots of different articulations, and some of them group all the different articulations, like this one here. This one is someone slamming the hell out of a 5-string Music Man Stingray, so we're going to use that. And now hopefully we get quite a nice sounding bass. So if we program in some MIDI, you can just write a bass line however you want. They're going to mess around with the velocity to get a more realistic sound. Okay, let's get rid of that. Here's one I made earlier. If that sounds familiar, that should be the bass line from Flashback on the Mega Drive. What a game. If I was just writing a song, I'd probably just leave it at that because that sounds pretty good as it is, but obviously when it comes to sort of mixing and recording, you want to make things your own and a bit more personalised. So the first thing I do is humanise it a little bit by adding some random velocity in. It's just a MIDI effect in Ableton. I'm just going to turn the random up to about between 5 and 7 maybe. Say, yeah, 5. And what that'll do is every MIDI note will be randomised by about 5 points on the velocity scale. So it's just a little bit more random and a little bit less more robotic. I'm actually going to roll that an octave down. See how that sounds. Yeah, we'll stick with that. So the next thing to do is to get rid of Trilian's internal processing. It's an amp sound that's generated by Trilian, and you can get rid of that and you get essentially a bass DI. So in Trilian, in the main tab, you have this mix here, you got the pickup, you got release, and you also have amp. So knock amp down to infinite negative. On FX, just disable everything. And now we should have what sounds like a bass DI. So that currently is still MIDI. We want that to be audio so we can reamp with it. Right click on the track. Right click again and flatten. And that converts everything we had into audio. So let's just call that bass DI. Okay, next I'm just going to duplicate that because I tend to try and blend the distorted bass tone with the DI. We want to have that option, we don't want to just lose our DI, so I'm going to duplicate that. Let's give that a different colour so we know. An audio track for that reamp to come back to. And make sure that is input 1 here. Here's the front of the audio interface. As you can see, into input 1 there's the jack lead, and that's coming from the Kemper. This is input 2, which is just the microphone, monitor level, and 2 headphone jacks. In the back, you haven't got to worry about any of this stuff, but over here, into 1 and 2, those are my monitor speakers, and coming out of 3 is this red jack cable, and that's going to the Kemper. Now in the back of the Kemper, you have the direct output send. You see that's the black jack cable, which is going into the input 1 of the Focusrite, and on the return input, that's that red jack cable, which is going out the back of output 3 into the Kemper. Okay, so due to technical difficulties, some of this is going to have to be on my camera phone. Basically, because I'm using a Mac, I'm having to route my audio to a virtual device, which is not the same as my sound card. So that's meaning I can't send the audio where I want to. So, in preferences, get rid of that. So now I have audio coming in through my 6 in 6 out and out through the same device. And in output configuration, make sure that output 3 is enabled. You don't have to worry about 4. And that bass DI, we're going to send external out, channel 3. So now that bass DI track we had before is being sent to channel 3 on the outputs on the back of the 6 in 6 out. Okay, next we need to sort out MixControl. MixControl is a software that comes with the Scarlett 6 in 6 out, and for some reason this problem only exists with the 6 in 6 out. It took me a long time to figure out what was going on, and it was only through lots of trawling through forums that I found people had this similar problem. Now, it works like a mixer, so you can send various different mixes to various different outputs. As you can see, you've got monitor output 1 and monitor output 2, but you don't have 3 or 4. I spent a long time thinking, you know, where's 3, where's 4? If you look at this picture I've got of a larger interface, you can see they have all the different outputs listed there, and I couldn't work out what was going wrong. For some reason with the 6 in 6 out, this left headphone and right headphone, that is 3 and 4. So earlier we saw that the cable was going out of output 3 into the Kemper Profiler, so we're going to switch that to door 3. That's the output of Ableton channel 3, which, if you remember, is the bass DI. So now we're sending the bass DI out of the third output on the Focusrite into the Kemper, and it's going to come back into channel 1 on this reamp channel. Okay, so now we need to work out the routing on the Kemper Profiler. So you hold down the input button. We need to make sure that the input source is set to return input reamp, which is going to be the DI coming out of channel 3 of the Focusrite into the return input of the Kemper. On the output, we need to make sure that the direct output is showing. I've been using master mono. I'm sure there's a difference between all of these as to what you actually get, but because I want the whole signal, master mono seems to work. Just to make sure that this track is set to armed, and then we can start dialing in a tone that we like. I'm just going to crank the gain just for fun. And finally just press record to capture what we've got. So we're back with the microphone now. You now have your bass DI and your reamp sound. You can do as many of those as you like. I sometimes like to do 3. Make sure that you put your DI back to the master tracks. You don't want it sending out anymore, you want to be able to hear it. And then you can just try mixing these together and see what you can come up with. And that's it. Remember, if you're using MixControl with a 6 in 6 out, lots of people have this problem. It's just that output 3 and 4 don't show up. You need to use those headphone outputs. If this was useful or you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, like the Facebook page. If not, tell me what I can do to improve and I'll try my best. Thanks.